Hi, I'm Nick Karabatsos with Forest Feeding Families, and my good friend Morgan here, who I've known since she was wee tiny, shot her first doe with a muzzleloader. I'm really proud of her. Congratulations.
Thank you. First muzzleloader kill overall, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. And she's very generous to donate this doe to Forest Feeding Families, our organization. It's going to go help feed a lot of families in need. And one important thing is when you harvest an animal, you want to make sure you take care of the meat the right way. So we're going to walk through a technique, and there's different techniques to gut and clean a harvested animal. And then we'll show you a tip and see if it helps. So when I'm gutting a deer, I like to use a little shorter knife. It's easier to maneuver and make good cuts with. We're going to use the 4-inch Benchmade Meatcrafter. It also comes in 7-inch, but we're going to use a 4-inch. So the first thing is you want to get here around the anus. The anus and the bladder are two important pieces that can contaminate the meat, so you want to make sure you work around those and get those out.
How do you make sure that the feces doesn't contaminate the meat, I guess?
That's a good question. Yeah, so once you do shallow cuts, you want to get in there, you make sure you don't cut the rectum if you can. So you pull the rectum out. I like to do. Just kind of get some of that feces out and do an old-fashioned half hitch. So then when you gut it, you just pull it right out with the rest of the inside of the animal, all in one piece. Next step is I like just to cut here, kind of get it started. Just open her up. Again, it's really important to have a really sharp knife. Just kind of cut down the pelvis here. Tear it out.
Hmm.
Important thing is you be very careful when you start getting closer. You don't want to puncture the guts, the stomach or the intestine, because that's going to contaminate.
Yeah.
So you make really shallow cuts, just like this, and kind of keep the knife a little angled upwards when you cut. You don't want to try and cut too much hair because the hair will contaminate. So this is kind of the lining of the here. Let's see, all the inside is in this tissue, this lining.
So there's like a fatty layer and a muscle layer you want to get through.
And my trick I use is, I like to use the 2-finger method, right? You gotta be very careful. You take your 2 fingers, right, like a Y, and you just keep the knife upwards, right? You use that point. Be very careful because it's a sharp knife. This Benchmade knife's really sharp. You just want to cut right up in there. So you get up here, and you're gonna get to the rib cage, right here. If you have a tool and you want to use it, you can cut through the rib cage and open up even more, which will help it keep it cooler.
Gotcha.
In this case, we're just going to get our hands up in there and get to work.
And when your hands are in there, what exactly do you cut to release?
So the lungs, the heart, the windpipe, everything, because they're all kind of connected in one piece. So it's all held by up there in that windpipe.
So you're going up into this area?
Yep, so you want to get all the way in, right, past the heart, up the neck as far as you can.
Okay.
To cut there. So you can just then start cutting the tissue away, the diaphragm away to pull the whole thing out, and you'll see that.
Gotcha.
The thing is, when you get up inside there, with the knife, you can't see it, so you gotta be very delicate. As you cut in there, you don't cut your finger. So here we go. So I have the whole piece. I'm gonna slowly start to pull the whole thing out at once. So if you're really squeamish and you don't like seeing the insides, I would turn away from the TV for a few minutes. Because it's going to get a little graphic. So as you start to pull it out, everything out, you start to slowly cut the tissue away.
Gotcha.
Piece by piece.
So that makes it come out a little bit easier.
And on the sides here, you're going to have some of the side connecting tissue on the side in there. And so when you're cutting though, right, you're starting to get close and you want to get this out of here. You got to remember that inside there's some inner tenderloins. You don't want to scrape in there and cut those. Right, you're going to be very careful.
Because those are good.
Yeah, those are good
eating,
delicate, right? You start cutting this tissue away a little bit. So one thing you can do as you get here is you can cut this flank off on the side.
Oh.
Right? To kind of help you make sure you don't get a lot of hair inside of it. See how the hair is getting in there?
Yeah.
You come here. So I cut that flank away, right? So keep some of that hair from getting inside there.
Yeah.
Right, you even cut a little more if you want, but I think we're okay. Pelvis bone right here. Some guys are really good. They can use their knife and cut it. I'm not that good. So you can just use like a little saw, hand saw,
Yep.
and cut this open, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that it can air out a little more. You see here, I just pulled out the half hitch, right? So that rectum came out and no feces got out of it because you had the half hitch.
Mm-hmm.
So it all came out in one piece.
Awesome.
See?
There
Here's
we go.
the ladder. So make sure you get in there. So get in there. I just don't want to cut it too much. Let's go this way, Morgan. So we all have to walk in the guts. All right, we'll get it right here.
Flipping it this way?
Yeah, so we're gonna flip it so it's laying flat down so we can get as much blood to drain out as possible. So we'll take it here, and then we're gonna flip it over. Good to have a partner. Get this leg out. There we go. So let it drain out as much as possible. Get it loaded up. So that's how I like to gut a deer. There's all different kinds of techniques and different ways to do it. I would definitely do your homework, do a little look online, read a couple of books on anatomy and some other techniques. But this works really well for us.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, and Midwest Outdoors will be right back.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Midwest Outdoors content.